Hi, Dr. Mullins. My name is Barry Wirtz. I'm in part of your Nature and Society course. I wanted to go over um, my YouTube project with you. It's going to be pretty interesting stuff, um, at least what I've learned in your class, and maybe some cool insights that maybe you haven't thought of yet. Um, Initially, I was watching some of your risk management. I think it was chapter 9, and you talked to somebody about organic water, and because I'm a chemistry guy, I have a higher interest in chemistry. I'm getting a minor in chemistry. Um, Water is inorganic. It's not even an organic molecule, so the irony of organic water is that the name doesn't even make sense. Um, I just thought that was pretty funny. So let's start with the beginning. Environmental problems have stemmed since really the 1930s. I'm going to go ahead and shut my garage door here. We began in the 1930s to have this so-called boom. We came out of a couple of the world wars. We were having troubles with the Great Depression shortly thereafter that. But from like 1940, 1950, beginning into 1960, we had this huge economic boom globally. It was kind of really interesting because it was massive growth all over the country, all over the world. We were soaking up natural resources left and right. And the trouble with that is we had no control system. There was no environmental real protection agency out there. There was no, hey, pro-environment, this is what we want to do. Um, we probably shouldn't suck up all the oil out of this place. Maybe we should, try to look into alternative, sources. At the time, fossil fuels and coal were like, those are our bread and butter, so to speak, when it comes to our livelihood. Um, so let's talk about this. So let's talk about how I just got this brand new house. I'm taking a picture of my garage. I pretty much live in my garage. It's unfinished, and I found that really interesting that like this portion right here probably took a lot of trees just to build. They're all 2 by 4 by, I don't know, 13 by 10 maybe. Really, really tall. Uh, and it's just wood. I mean, it's wood that had to be chopped down by some lumberjack, by some company that were probably using fossil fuels to run the system, to run the engines that they're driving and to pull down the big massive trees, right? So something that we didn't talk about really in class per se that I kind of got inferred was that, and I was also a business major, so I kind of have a background in business, that it's an equal sum environment, meaning that whatever we take from the system is a loss to the other system. So let's say we suck up oil out of the ground, right? The system, the environment, it's a loss to them. They lose the oil. We gain the oil. We use it to make other products, bags and fuels for our, crude oil for our cars and things like that. But it's never a win-win situation. There's very few systems that are even like that, where it's a win-win, where, hey, we took something from the environment, but the environment was better off because of it. It doesn't happen that way. I found that even, I've thought of thousands of different things that I thought would work that way, and it just doesn't. We use natural resources at a loss to the system, at a loss to the environment, because the environment cannot make that back. At least not quickly. It's one of those processes that takes forever. So back to a quick history lesson of what I thought was really, really fun and interesting. 60s and 70s, huge boom, lots of economic growth. Because I have that chemistry minor and background, we had asbestos problems, right? We had asbestos and lead in the paint, and in our houses. Mesothelioma is something that is caused by asbestos poisoning, and a lot of other chemicals that we just use, commonly. Hey, we're like, hey, this has got lead in it, but who cares? It's perfectly fine. We didn't have enough time to actually test those kind of things. We it was almost we were a victim of ourselves. And the connection to society was that it kind of got a break. You know, we had to go back through and chemically look at some of the things that are now what we call cancer causing. Um, if you look at, diethyl ether, something that we use all the time in chemistry, it's a cancer causing agent. Um, Methylene chloride, same thing. You cannot, but 40 years ago, they used it, they got it on their hands, they breathed it in, they burned it on Bunsen burners. Uh, it wasn't even a big deal. But a lot of chemists back in the day died because of using chemicals that were inappropriate. Um, Society is kind of the same way. I feel, and because America is not very old, it's a couple hundred years old. 1776, 1996 was what, our 200-year mark? It hasn't been that long. I feel like it's going to act almost as if we were chemists in the big scheme of things. We don't understand what we're dealing with really fully. That we end up having problems. We end up having problems understanding what we're manipulating, how we're getting fuel out of the ground, which I think is brilliant. But the fact that we are getting fuel out of the ground is remarkable, But we don't really understand the longevity effects of that. Are we taking mass out of the earth? Are we taking enough fluid out of the earth that we're going to cause tectonic shift? We don't know that. We have all these ideas that, oh no, it's perfectly safe and hey, the government knows what they're doing, but it's really a fallacy. When it comes to our waste is increasing daily. Holy cow. I mean, I personally don't recycle. I'll be the first one to say that. But I do my best not to throw garbage out onto the street. Do I fill it into a landfill? Yes, I do. I'm just like any other human on this planet. But at least I have the sense not to throw it where everybody can see it, kind of be just wasteful. On my way home, the local police bring out their correctional facility people, and they clean our road like 3 times a month, it seems, because people drive by and just chuck all their bottles and trash into the woods. And it's become a big problem just because animals are back there. It's attracting weird, different types of animals that shouldn't be there, and we're manipulating their environment. So my favorite part, I guess, out of the whole year or half a year that we've been with each other online is the part about rational risk. Maximizing benefits. There's got to be a good balance between maximizing benefits and minimizing destruction. I feel like we're almost there. We're on like the cusp of going over the edge, but no one wants to make the financial hardship before it. It's like working out. Some of the hardest things are actually pretty good for you. You talked about a gentleman jumping on a grenade. That's not in his best interest at the time, but the best interest for everyone. The fact that we all have to drive eco cars may hurt now, but it might be the best for us later. I'm not the guy to make that kind of distinction, but I think there are things that we can do that we aren't not doing, and it's going to cause problems later. It's one of those slow, progressive problems that we'll have to deal with in the future, and maybe not me, but my kids, my kids' kids, and future generations down the line will have to deal with problems that we're making today. And in retrospect, it'll be just like the lead paint in chemistry. People who painted with lead, they had no idea. We kind of have an idea. We're a pretty smart generation. Throwing trash on the outskirts of town is just crazy. But maybe we didn't know that running your air conditioning all the time can cause lung cancer. We don't. Maybe, I don't know. Maybe taking hot water baths with some of the new soap that they have come out with can cause skin cancer. We don't know. But I just found that real interesting, and I'm running out of time here, so I'm going to wrap this up about 10 minutes. Thank you so much, Dr. Mullins. Bye-bye.